Hello and welcome to this week's edition of When in Vietnam. In this episode, we reflect on the impact of Typhoon Yagi and its devastating aftermath in northern Vietnam. During our Greet and Meet segment, we talk to expats who share a deep love for Vietnam and are eager to help those in need. In today's Why Vietnam, we explore the remarkable strength and resilience of the Vietnamese people and the qualities that have earned the international community's admiration. But first, let's look back at the events surrounding this historic storm. In September 2024, Typhoon Yagi made landfall in northern Vietnam, bringing torrential rain, ferocious high-speed winds, and widespread flooding. The storm affected over 170,000 homes, submerged villages, and triggered landslides in provinces like Yên Bái, Lao Cai, and Thanh Hóa. At least 350 people were reported dead or missing, with over 1,908 others injured. Power outages, infrastructure damage, and disrupted transportation added to the chaos, especially in remote areas. Typhoon Yagi stands as one of the most devastating storms in Vietnam's history. In response to the devastation caused by Typhoon Yagi, the Vietnamese government swiftly mobilized rescue efforts. During challenging times, Vietnam has consistently received robust support from countries abroad, the international community, and NGOs. This collective response has been crucial in providing relief and recovery after natural disasters like Typhoon Yagi. The Australian government pledged $3 million for humanitarian relief, emergency supplies, and other essential services in response to the devastation wrought by Typhoon Yagi. Within 48 hours of the announcement, Australia delivered its first aid shipment valued at 50,000 Australian dollars to Hanoi, providing essential supplies to communities in desperate need of relief.
I want to take this opportunity again to express our deep sympathies and condolences to those who have been impacted by this terrible tragedy. But as you say, we were able to provide some assistance. So the initial assistance came in the form of $50,000 worth of emergency equipment, which came quite quickly. Another $950,000 worth will be channeled through the United Nations organizations. And then another $2 million Australian dollars will go through non-government organizations that have good partnerships in Vietnam already. So we hope that that will make a difference.
The United States announces $1 million for immediate relief efforts following Typhoon Yagi.
So Typhoon Yagi is clearly one of the most destructive typhoons to hit Vietnam in many years. The U.S. government, through U.S. aid, is a global leader in emergency response support. And in Vietnam, it's no different. So USAID, working closely with MARD, has been part of Vietnam's Disaster Reduction Partners Group. Rapid project approval from the government of Vietnam for this $1 million in U.S. government aid is critical in order for these funds to reach those in need as quickly as possible.
The Japanese government offered to deliver emergency aid through the Japan International Cooperation Agency. South Korea pledged to provide $2 million in humanitarian aid to Vietnam to help it overcome the disaster's consequences. The UK government also announced £1 million of humanitarian assistance to Vietnam. The World Health Organization, WHO, donated 1 million water purification tablets to protect the health of hundreds of thousands of people following the tragic devastation of Typhoon Yagi. UNICEF urgently dispatched 80,000 water purification tablets and 4,000 liters of water to ensure the drinking water supply for 800 people. This is along with other support from the international community in assisting Vietnam during its crisis.
Millions of children remain critically exposed to the devastating impact of Typhoon Yagi. UNICEF stands with the people and the government of Vietnam in those tragic times. We are at their side to help with children and affected communities access to basic social services. We also have water tanks that can go to schools or communities hospitals. We can provide supplies to schools that have been destroyed. We are here to have all the efforts and mobilize all the goodwill so that children can resume with their lives and enjoy their childhood.
The United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, handed 700 gender and disability-sensitive household kits to Vietnam's Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to support communities in the northern mountainous province ofIen Bai.
We have designed the kits here to be gender-sensitive and disability-sensitive kits because we understand that those are some of the most vulnerable members of the community. You can imagine that in a storm, in a flooding situation, persons with physical disabilities, for example, would be having much more difficulty in the evacuation. So we understand that they have special need. Having the voice of those vulnerable communities be heard and be understood and have the space so that they can participate in describing what it is that they are facing and what their needs are will help make the response that much more inclusive and that much more meaningful.
Thanks to timely support, many essential goods and supplies have been distributed to severely affected provinces such as Yen Bai, Lao Cai, and Cao Bang. This aid helped local residents begin normal life again. The support efforts are structured in multiple phases to ensure that people can meet their immediate needs and gradually rebuild their lives.
We want to make sure that these communities are properly supported to recover and to make the best of what they have. And what they have is beautiful. These are beautiful places which people need to visit. I'm looking forward to making my next trip to Son La and Yen Bai and Lao Cai and these other areas, maybe with some of the other ambassadors who are also very interested, so we can see for ourselves the impact and maybe it'll help to inform our ongoing partnership with these provinces.
Đầu tiên thì tôi muốn là xin được thay mặt cho Cục Quản lý Đê điều phòng chống thiên tai, xin được cảm ơn tất cả các quốc gia rồi cũng như là các tổ chức quốc tế ở tại Việt Nam đã chung tay để mà hỗ trợ cho các nạn nhân của thiên tai Yagi vừa rồi. Và chúng tôi nghĩ rằng là các khoản hỗ trợ, cứu trợ của các tổ chức quốc tế và các quốc gia thực sự là rất hữu ích vào lúc này. Bởi vì chúng tôi được tiếp nhận những danh sách hàng hóa mà chúng tôi cho rằng là nó thực sự là hữu dụng. Thứ hai nữa là tôi muốn nói đến về vấn đề là sự nhanh, cái tính kịp thời. Chúng tôi đã tiếp nhận hàng của Úc và hàng đã chuyển đến tay người dân ở Yên Bái. Chiều ngày hôm nay chúng tôi sẽ tiếp nhận hàng của Trung tâm AHA và Trung tâm Cứu trợ Nhân đạo của ASEAN. Cái việc mà cứu trợ có tổ chức như thế này thì cái sản phẩm cứu trợ đến được người dân rất nhanh và rất là chính xác và đúng chỗ.
The active and timely support from partner countries, international allies, and humanitarian organizations worldwide has been crucial. This collective assistance not only aids Vietnam in overcoming the immediate aftermath of disasters, but also exemplifies the deep spirit of solidarity and friendship among nations. This collaboration highlights the power of global unity in times of crisis, fostering a stronger international community committed to mutual support. After making landfall in Vietnam, Typhoon Yagi, the third storm to hit Vietnam this year, wreaked havoc in Hanoi, uprooting numerous trees, flooding several areas, and necessitating a major cleanup operation. An estimate of over 40,000 trees were uprooted across the city and its surrounding districts due to the heavy typhoon winds. This resulted in blocked roads, damaged infrastructure, and disruptions to daily life.
Khi tôi đã nhìn thấy cái cây đá hơn 100 tuổi đổ xuống, tôi cảm thấy như là tôi mất một cái gì quý của tôi, là vì cây đá đổ luôn luôn bao che những cái ánh sáng của mặt trời để tạo một cái bầu không khí tuyệt vời cho tôi và những người khác đến Đại sứ quán Palestine. Và hôm nay tôi cũng rất là cảm động khi thấy cái đội ngũ anh em làm cho công ty cây xanh thành phố Hồ Chí Minh đến đây để giúp đỡ chúng tôi chắt cái cây này và tháo gỡ những cái hậu quả của cây này. Tôi nghĩ rằng là việc này không phải là đơn giản.
Although local authorities swiftly deployed teams to clear the roads and remove fallen trees, the sheer volume of debris overwhelmed their efforts. Therefore, on the morning of September 14th, the Vietnam Fatherland Front launched a citywide cleanup campaign in cooperation with the Hanoi People's Committee. Many residents, including older people, volunteered to clean the streets, clear fallen branches, and support sanitation workers in removing debris. For some, participating in the cleanup was both a responsibility and a source of joy, reflecting their lifelong connection to the city.
Sau cơn bão số 3 thì phải nói là chúng tôi nhìn thấy thành phố tan hoang, cây cối đổ nát rồi cũng có nhiều những thiệt hại, thành thử ra chúng tôi rất là xót xa. Cho nên là chúng tôi vẫn tiếp tục tham gia. Sau khi chúng tôi dọn xong thì chắc là cây xanh họ lại trồng lại thì nó lại đẹp hơn. Và chúng tôi rất mong muốn là thành phố chúng ta lại vẫn trở lại đẹp như trước cơn bão.
Vì khối lượng công việc thì lớn như vậy, các cơ quan chức năng trong suốt thời gian vừa qua cũng đã rất tích cực vào cuộc để dọn dẹp cây xanh, nhưng mà tuy nhiên là cái khối lượng nó lớn thì cũng chưa thể có thể xuể ngay được. Thì vì vậy rất cần cái sự chung tay vào cuộc của mỗi người dân.
Another cleanup event the same day attracted international tourists who were in Hanoi for a short city break. Instead of spending their weekend on traditional sightseeing activities, these visitors chose to contribute to the city's recovery efforts. Among them was a British couple who traveled to Hanoi specifically to participate in the event, skipping typical tourist attractions to help clean up the debris.
We don't live here, we just travel Southeast Asia for a month. And we saw about the storm, so we decided we were in Phu Quoc, so we decided to fly to Hanoi to help. We just want to help everybody, and we just feel good by helping because we feel sorry that all this mess. People just join together and help. It's just lovely here that everybody's joining together and helping.
We flew here just to do this for the weekend. And then we'll carry on with our travel. If everybody clubs together, everything will be easy. It just needs people just to help. That's all it needs. The more people, the easier it is.
Expats living in the city, many of whom call Hanoi home, also joined forces with locals to restore the city's streets and green spaces. Sweating under the tropical heat, many expats showed impressive determination, lifting and dragging heavy tree logs to move them to designated areas for easier disposal. Despite the sweltering conditions, they continued to push through, driven by a shared sense of responsibility and solidarity with the local community.
I mean, I live in Vietnam, it's kind of like a home for me, so I figured I should help out. Seen people like donating boats and stuff like that, and then some people can come out and help clean the city, so I think it's great. However anybody can pitch in and help is great.
I was kind of sad after the storm that the city looked like that, because I really love the city, I really love Hanoi, because Hanoi is such a beautiful city. Everyone was on the streets and doing something as well, like all the Vietnamese people here are helping out either, so I thought like maybe I can just join them and help them either as well.
The expats participating in the street cleaning were also impressed by the swift response of local authorities in handling the aftermath of Typhoon Yagi. They appreciated how quickly the authorities mobilized resources and teams to clear fallen trees and restore the city's streets to normal.
I was shocked at how quickly roads had been cleared on the morning after, and I think I saw emergency vehicles coming out during the typhoon, so hats off to the very brave responders from Vietnam. And not only them, the locals are also they're working day in, day out to get things cleared. So it's very inspirational. So
we just wanted to help Hanoi in any way we could, and we found this. Because we live here, you know, we lived through this experience of the typhoon as well, and we want to give back and help as much as we could.
This large-scale cleanup event, organized by a travel company in cooperation with One Kiem District, gathered over 200 volunteers, including expats, tourists, and locals.
Hơn 200 đơn đăng ký đến cho 2 ngày thứ Bảy và Chủ nhật, và mỗi một ca làm như thế này đã có gần 100 người đăng ký, và mình cảm thấy rất là xúc động. Mình thấy các bạn người nước ngoài đến thật sự là lăn xả, và thực sự là họ rất yêu mến cái mảnh đất này, và họ thật sự là nhìn thấy những cái khó khăn mà bão lũ đã gây ra, và họ đồng lòng và họ thực sự muốn đoàn kết với cả người Việt nữa.
The presence of international visitors and the expat community in Hanoi and their willingness to get involved reflected a deep sense of empathy and solidarity with the local community. Their participation added to the spirit of togetherness and resilience, which characterized the city's response to the storm. Typhoon Yagi has caused serious damage to humans and property in northern Vietnam. In the face of the devastation, Vietnamese people have multiplied the tradition of compassion and solidarity by their prompt acts of kindness. During the typhoon, a video of 2 white cars coordinating to escort a motorbike across an overpass in Liut Zai Ward, Hanoi, has been widely shared and received millions of interactions on social media. Another video shows a convoy of cars and larger vehicles guiding a group of motorbikes across a bridge when torrential rains and strong winds battered Hanoi. Social media users from across the world express their admiration for the spirit and kindness of Vietnamese people.
That brings faith in humanity. I want to live in a country where the citizens are like this to each other.
I'm crying watching this. Such a beautiful heart, everyone there.
That is incredible human action.
Sometimes humanity is beautiful.
This rebuilds my faith in humanity.
Natural disasters, storms, and floods are inevitable natural phenomena. Every year, various extreme storms make landfall, killing and injuring people and causing property damage. The tradition of sharing and solidarity among compatriots has evoked a sense of goodwill in every Vietnamese person. This tradition has become a solid foundation, motivation, and strength for Vietnamese people to stand strong together to overcome the consequences of storms and floods and return life to normality.
It was very typical of Vietnamese. They are very community-minded. You help each other. You're tough and resilient. In all of Vietnam's history has been about solidarity and supporting each other and recovering from disasters. So it doesn't surprise me at all. But it makes me very happy and very proud.
Violetta and Candela, 2 Spanish tourists, were stranded in Sapa due to flooding, which canceled their trip. Instead of letting their unexpected change of plan go to waste, they chose to make a positive impact. They joined local residents in preparing 100 meals, which they then delivered to those affected by the landslides in the region.
My friends and I, together with the staff from the travel agency, came together to cook meals for those in need, an experience unlike anything I've had before. It was a truly special effort, and we hope these meals bring some warmth and comfort to those receiving them.
For expats living in Vietnam, the Vietnamese people's spirit of mutual support deeply touches their hearts and inspires them to give back.
Khi nào mình gặp khó khăn gì ở Việt Nam thì mình luôn luôn cũng có ai ở bên mình để giúp mình một chút. Và hiện tại người Việt có một thời gian khá là khó khăn, cho nên mình cũng cảm thấy ok, bây giờ là thời gian mình nên giúp họ một chút. Đấy là một điều chào ơn. Mình mong muốn mọi người bình an, sức khỏe và an toàn. Cố lên Việt Nam nhé!
Whether through donations, road clearing, or volunteering in flood-affected areas, each act of assistance is a way to reciprocate the kindness and warmth they have received from the local community.
Vietnam giống như một nhà của mình rồi. Tôi thấy người Việt hay giúp đỡ người khi có khó khăn, rất giống lòng tốt người Việt.
Văn hóa của em khác nhau, văn hóa của người Việt khác nhau một tí, nhưng mà bây giờ mình có một cơ hội để kết nối cả hai văn hóa đó. Tụi em ở đây thì em cảm thấy em cũng là một phần của một gia đình ở đây. Người ta ủng hộ nhau, người ta giúp nhau. Có vấn đề gì thì ai cũng ở bên em, ở bên mình để giúp mình.
Tôi nghĩ là một điều đặc biệt về người Việt Nam và cộng đồng Việt Nam là mọi người có trái tim rất to và luôn luôn sẵn sàng để tham gia cùng nhau. Và tôi cảm thấy rất là tự hào người nước ngoài sống ở Hà Nội.
That brings us to the close of this edition of When in Vietnam. In times of hardship, the compassion and humanity shared among people helped the most vulnerable. As the typhoon passed, we witnessed the unwavering unity and resilience of the Vietnamese people, qualities that have become their greatest strength in moving forward. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, stay strong and connected.